NCC, connecting Nigeria.
Hello there. I welcome you to this special telecast of the Nigerian Communication Commission's NCC Telecom Television Dialogue. And our focus today is on 5G technology, its opportunities and challenges. I am Kazim Adeyemo. The Nigerian Communications Commission's NCC is an independent national regulatory authority for the telecommunications industry in Nigeria. The Commission is responsible for creating an enabling environment for competition among operators, telecom, that is the telecom service providers in the industry, as well as ensuring the provision of qualitative and efficient telecommunications services throughout the country. Late last year, NCC successfully auctioned the 5G spectrum for mobile communication. 5G refers to the fifth generation of global system of mobile, better known as GSM. Like the technologies that preceded it, 5G has potentials for opportunities, just as there are challenges that must be surmounted to tap into these opportunities. All right, I've got a team of experts from the Nigerian Communications Commission with me today, to talk about the 5G technology, the opportunities, and of course, the challenges. Okay, now, I figure out that in the tech space, among the users, there are two major groups. The first being people who just want to make calls and receive calls, access the internet, get to use their social media and all of that. They are less concerned about what kind of technology, they are using. All they want to do is let them just have access to the internet, and that would be it. Now, the other group seems to me, these are the group who know next to nothing about how the tech space works. And these are the people who among them, spread myths and misconceptions around this 5G technology in particular. So I'm very, very happy to have this group with me today, this team of experts who are going to speak to all of this. And I'm sure at the end of this discourse, much information would have been pushed out there. People would have known better about this 5G, particularly correcting the misconception. But before we go on, let's go on this break. We'll be back.
5G is the fifth generation of cellular networks. It is fast, reliable, and can connect everyone and everything together. It will allow for smart homes, smart schools, smart cities, smart and safer vehicles, as well as improved healthcare, agriculture, and education. 5G will create huge opportunities for people and businesses. It will also provide jobs, increase GDP, enhance creativity and innovation, and improve the security of lives and properties. The World Health Organization has said that 5G is safe to use and cannot cause COVID-19 or any radiation-related ailments. NCC stands on the side of science and makes it clear that claims that 5G has adverse health implications have no scientific basis whatsoever.
All right, so welcome back. Okay, so let's get to meet the team of experts from the NCC. Yes, I've got a lady and two gentlemen with me. And of course, I'd like to start the introduction from the lady. We are gender-friendly here. So let's welcome Mrs. Yetunde Akinloye, the Director of Policy Competition and Economic Analysis. Madam, good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Kazim. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, very well. And you too?
I'm fine.
Okay, so to our right, I have Director of Consumer Affairs Bureau of NCC, Mr. Efosa Edenhen. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome,
Good morning,
sir.
everybody.
That's right. And seated directly to me here, and I'm sure that, I'm going to be getting it directly from him here. He is the director. He is the Director of Technical Standards and Network Integrity, Engineer Bako Wakil. Pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you very much, Kazim.
All
Thank
right.
you very much, viewers.
All right, so let's set the ball rolling. And I'm going to start in with you, Engineer Bako Wakil. So tell us, I just painted two scenarios of two groups. Okay, so speak to these people. What is this 5G all about? And as brief as you can, take us through the journey to the 5G and why it has to be deployed now.
Thank you very much, Kazim. Thank you very much, viewers. You rightly, pointed out the fact that 5G is simply the fifth generation of mobile technology.
That's right.
For the young ones may not know, but back in those days in this country, and also in everywhere else, what we had then was only a fixed line that is in the offices and at homes. So once you are on the move, you cannot be reached and you cannot reach anybody. So because of that, research has been going on as to why couldn't there be communication on mobility. So that gave rise to the first generation of mobile technology we call 1G. To be precise, 1G was switched on commercially in Japan in December of 1979. That 1G is, of course, provide basic communication in terms of functionality. It's only phone calls, nothing more than that. And because it is also analog, it's not SIM-based. This subscriber identity module that we know today, the SIM card, it doesn't have it. So it is the device itself that is being programmed with the number. And because of that, there is issue of interoperability. In other words, you cannot take the phone from Nigeria and go and make a call somewhere else. Even within Nigeria, if you are programmed in Abuja, by the time you want to come into Lagos, you have to ask the service provider, please, I'm going to Lagos, roam me to Lagos. That's the only way you can able to, use it. So that's the deficiency of the 1G. So 10 years after, we have the 2G that was introduced commercially in the year 1990. And the 2G, by that time, those deficiencies of 1G have been identified, and it has been improved to a fully digital system, for one. And then secondly, in terms of functionality, another functionality was added, which is text message. You can able to send text message. So you can make a call, you can make a text message, and fully and internationally interoperable. So there is standard that has been set that is global standard, so you can use it anywhere in the world. You go with your handset, put the SIM over there, and you are good to go. Still, people are asking, why can't I access the internet while on the move using my mobile phone? Why should I be, if I want to have the internet, in those days, you have a dial-up system on your desktop, it's so slow. Sometimes when you click a page, you want to open a page, you will go and make a cup of tea, come back, still trying to open. So that gave rise to the 3G. So you'll be able to make a call, send a text message, as well as access the internet while on the go. And then the data capacity, in 3G also would enable you to send, pictures, for instance, and so on. So that 3G was introduced in the year 2000. And then research still was going because human demands and includes, curiosity is always, on the rise. So people started asking, why can't I make a video call, for instance? So 4G, now the data capacity became much better. The 4G handset become computer of some sort that would very much powerful, processing power and capacity. So with 4G, you'll be able to do the phone call, text message, you'll be able to access the internet and make a video call, such as Zoom meeting and Teams meeting and all that. Okay. And with a very good, video resolution, okay. So still, as I said, human needs are always growing. Yeah. So research still, continues, and in the year 2020, 5G was introduced. 5G was expected for year 2020, but it came up a little bit earlier in South Korea. South Korea actually deployed commercial 5G in April of 2019. So as of today, there are so many countries around the world that have deployed 5G. But for Nigeria, we are just starting. As you rightly said, we did a trial in November of 2019, and we were able to auction the resources that is required for the deployment of 5G, which is the spectrum. And 2 companies have emerged winners, MTN and Mapap Communications. Now our plan is for these 2 companies to start rolling out services from August this year. And our expectation is in the next 4-5 years, we will have a national coverage of 5G network. 5G is much more robust, its capabilities is much higher. It can do 10 times better.
Certainly,
than
that's part of part of the benefits of the 5G. Okay, the time is not a friend here. So as well as possible, I want us to touch on all the vital things we need to do here. Now, by this journey you just taking us through from 1G, 2G to 5G, that sure has been a journey.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if we have reached the destination yet. Maybe we're still going to 10G or 20G.
Of course, already what we call Network 2030, research has started for Network 2030, or what you can at the end call 6G.
Oh,
so already work has started.
Work has started. So, yes. so very quickly, sir, tell us the difference between this 5G and the previous.
Okay, now from 1G to 4G, essentially is human-to-machine communication.
Okay.
But with 5G, you're going to have machine-to-machine communication.
Oh.
Machines communicating themselves.
Okay.
And 5G has 3 major characteristics or criteria that today's 4G don't have. One is enhanced mobile broadband, where you have a download speed of in excess of 20 gigabits per second.
Wow.
Massive download speed. That's why you can able to do, a lot of things, like industry automation, robotics and all that. Then the second attribute is what we call ultra low latency, communication. The actions and response time, latency of 1 millisecond. The human brains take about 10 milliseconds to process an information. So, but the 5G will take only 1 millisecond or less.
Wow.
And then the third one is what we call the massive machine communication, massive type communication, where you have millions of devices will be connected within a small, space of time. So these 3 attributes, 4G today cannot do.
Interesting. I think it's just what we should look forward to. So very quickly, let me go to Director Consumer Affairs Bureau, Mr. Fosaiden, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. So he's just spoken a lot, and address the first group. Now I want to address the second group of people, what I'll call the ignorant set of people who don't know much about what we're talking about here. And these are the people who peddle this myth and so many conspiracy theories around this 5G. They're so concerned about health, safety, security, and all whatnot. Well, no thanks to COVID-19 too, that fueled the whole thing then, but at least the dust has settled now on COVID-19. So tell us the true picture of things. Why do you think these people are, going about with this myth? And do you think their fears and concerns are justified?
Well, thank you very much, Kazim. It's we in NCC, we follow science.
Okay.
It's the science that we follow because if there's a scientific basis for what they are saying, we want to investigate it and find out whether it's true or not. But for now, as at now, WHO, that's the World Health Organization, have over the years looked at these issues, whether the radiation from telecom devices, whether the base station or the phone, is harmful to human beings, and they've not found any reason or any scientific basis to say it causes any ailment.
Okay.
And then the International Telecom Union, the ITU, which is the worldwide organization in charge of telecoms, for over 30 years, consistently research to see whether mobile phones or base stations have health issues or are related to any known ailment. To date, they've not. And they validate all the time. They carry out those research and then revalidate it over and over again. I think their last validation was in 2021, and it still states that they have not found any reason to say that base station or even telephones are responsible for any ailment. But you know, the radiation for phones are non-ionizing, and there's a commission on non-ionizing radiation protection. It's called ICNIP, which looks at the type of radiation that comes out from base stations or phone. And they've come to the conclusion that these things are not hazardous to human beings. Anyway. So for us in NCC, we would want, if any of those people, all these conspiracy theorists, have a scientific basis, we want them to publish it, and then it could also be a learning point for the entire world, so that we find out whether what they did elsewhere is not happening, or our own researchers can actually try to validate those researches that have been carried out by these organizations that I've just named, and see whether it is actually applicable to us. Until such a time that they have correct data, scientific data, to say we carried out these things and these are the things that we found, we will not be able to give justification to what they are saying. As of today, we tell Nigerians to say that radiations from telephones are not hazardous to human beings. And even there are bigger radiations. A lot of things radiate. If we talk about the non-ionizing one, we have them around us. These lights and all of them, they emit radiation. Indeed. But they are not hazardous to human beings.
Indeed. You know what people don't understand, it becomes mystery. You know, and that's why I'm not surprised that we have it. But thank you so much, for clearing the airwaves. Like NCC does regulate the airwaves as well. Thank you. So very quickly, let me still stay with you, Mr. Idahan. Tell us what NCC has done or is doing to further push out these facts to the public domain, beyond what we're doing here.
NCC has a department for consumer affairs. Since 2003, we've had that department, and it is in charge of protection, information and education, which is the PI mandate of NCC, to ensure that whatever is within the telecom space is safe for the consumers. But today we are going to talk about the education and information. We have a lot of consumer-centric activities or initiatives that we have developed. One of it is this, the television dialogue with Nigerians, to tell them what the issue really are. And we use a lot of platforms. This is one. We have several conversations. We have the school campus conversation where we meet students and tell them their rights and the dangers of some things that you can't do in the cyberspace. We also go to village square meetings where we go to rural setting.
Okay.
We go to markets and we have the market dialogue where we meet shop owners in their own territory to discuss some of these issues. NCC has put in place, even the professionals, we attend their annual conferences to be able to discuss these issues. We are open to dialogue so that if there are things that we are not saying, the last time we attended was the Nigeria Medical Association annual conference in Port Harcourt. Because when you talk about health issue, we also want to get there. Probably there will be someone there who has information that we don't have, that will help educate our own industry. Those are some of the things we do. And just yesterday, we had a telecom consumer parliament, which is a place where we bring the consumer issues, we deliberate on it, take resolutions that will help us do our job. We've been getting to the face of the consumer, and at all times, we also want, we will do more. We also have what we call the town hall on radio, which is a phone-in program. We go to those programs. We get the consumers, the service providers to attend those programs. If there are issues that are germane to you, you phone in. The service providers will be there to answer, and then we also give our regulatory perspective to some of those issues.
Indeed. That's a good one from NCC, and we just hope that you can keep doing that.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Mrs. Yetunde Akinloye, you're so relaxed. But I'm going to be taking you on the pricing of this 5G. But I still want you to relax. I want us to take a break. When we return, I'll be coming to you. So let's take a breather at this point to digest, all that has been said so far here. And when we return, I'll be taking Mrs. Akinloye on the pricing of 5G. Let's go on this break. We'll be back.
ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 5G jẹ́ ìpele kan nínú ètò ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ tó pegede. Ó yára bí afẹ́fẹ́, ó ṣe é fi ọkàn tán, àti pé kò sí ibi tí ọwọ́jà rẹ̀ kò dé ní ibi gbogbo ní ìgbà gbogbo. O lè lo 5G nínú ilé ìwé, àdúgbò sí àdúgbò, ní inú ọkọ̀, bákan náà fún ètò ìlera, ètò ọ̀gbìn tàbí ètò ẹ̀kọ́. 5G tó jẹ́ àǹfààní fún aráàlú àti ètò okòwò. Ó tún lè pèsè fún ọ̀gọ̀rọ̀ àwọn tí kò ní iṣẹ́ nínú àwùjọ. Ó lè ṣe àlékún ọrọ̀ ajé àti àpawọlé owó fún orílẹ̀-èdè wa. 5G tún fi ààyè sílẹ̀ fún ọgbọ́n àtinúdá àti ẹ̀bùn mìíràn tí ó ní. Ó jẹ́ ìdáàbòbò fún ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá. Yóò tó lọ lágbàńlá ayé jẹ́rìí sí pé ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 5G kò ní ohunkóhun ṣe pẹ̀lú àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn kòrónà tàbí àìsàn mìíràn ní àgọ́ ara. Bákan náà ni àjọ NCC ti fi ojú ìmọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ wò pẹ̀lú ìdánilójú pé 5G kò léwu lágọ̀ọ́ ara, èyí tí kò yàtọ̀ rárá sí ojú tí àwọn onímọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ ẹ̀rọ fi wò ó. NCC, iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba tí ó so gbogbo orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà papọ̀ lórí afẹ́fẹ́.
Welcome back. You're still on to the Telecom Television Dialogue with the NCC. Okay, Mrs. Yetunde Akinloye, the Director, Policy Competition and Economic Analysis. Please speak to us on the pricing of this 5G compared to the other networks.
Thank you very much, Kazim, and good morning once again. You listened to my colleague, Mr. Efosa, speak about how we are a very consumer-centric regulator. In furtherance of that, there's a particular mandate we have to ensure that consumers are not exploited by operators. And one of the ways we ensure that they are not exploited is that we look at prices. So for you to find any price in the market for any telecom service, it has already passed through the NCC. And ours is to ensure, my own department, which is the Policy and Competition Department, is actually to ensure that the prices out there are not predatory, they are not exploitative, they are fair, they are transparent, and they are non-discriminatory. However, there is a way we go about our pricing. So we don't just decide and say, oh, okay, for making a call is going to be 20 naira. There has to be empirical evidence. And so what we do as a commission is that we undertake what we call a cost study. A cost study allows you to understand and know for certain how much would it cost for operator A to actually provide this voice service. How much would it cost to provide this data service? How much would it cost to send an SMS from A to B? So once you know that cost, then you are able to say, okay, for operators, you can only charge, we have what we call a floor price. Floor price means that you cannot go below that. And then you have a cap. It means you cannot go above that cap. So in between, you have room for maneuvering. So that is available to all operators. Now you have specifically asked about 5G. One thing I need to disabuse your mind about is that we will not, because it is 5G, have special prices or special cost. As a regulator, we are actually technology neutral. So the NCC is only interested in ensuring that the consumer gets service, qualitative service. It doesn't matter the technology that you're using. 5G is one of those technologies. Like Engineer Wakila said, you also have had different technologies. So 5G is just a technology. However, what will happen is that once they start rolling out the various new services on that technology, it will still come to the NCC for due approval. So what we will be doing as a regulator is to undertake what I have told you earlier on, which is the cost study. How much does it cost to provide this service?
Wow.
Then you have a floor, and then you have a cap.
Interesting. I see me shaking because I know time is just not. But very quickly, I'm happy with that. Mr. Daniel, please quickly tell us the opportunities here with this 5G. I'm looking forward to it.
5G has a lot of opportunities, and if you listen to most of our jingles on 5G, we listed those opportunities because for us, we don't want to be left behind as a country. When you talk, when my colleague spoke about machine to machine, talking to each other, that's artificial intelligence and the rest of them.
That's an AI.
Robotics and the rest of
That's
them.
right.
We want to be part and parcel of those issues. When you want to do farming, you may have to use even technology in farming.
Okay.
Agriculture will be enhanced.
Yeah.
Even education will be enhanced. A lot of issues that borders on our social interactions will also be enhanced.
I'm sure telemedicine will also benefit from that.
For sure, it will be there.
Beautiful. I just want us to touch on all this. Thank you very much. At least that's very good for me. Engineer Wakil,
Yes.
tell us. Of course, if there are opportunities, there certainly will be challenges. Can you quickly tell us some of them?
Yes, of course, there are challenges. Where there are opportunities, there are challenges. One of the challenges is for service providers to provide 5G services within the same area. They need a lot more sites, a lot more infrastructure. Maybe 5-10 times what we have today. So for them to deploy that, there are a number of issues. One, planning permission from various state agencies. Right now, some of the states are actually imposing tax on every base station. So which means it will be a disincentive. Operators will be afraid that if I add more base station, I will be taxed more. So we need state agencies to relax that so that we will have enough infrastructure to do that. Secondly, every base station is actually backhaul to the core network. Supposed to, for 5G, for you to have a 5G experience, you need a fiber link, not a microwave radio. Today we rely more on microwave radio for the backhaul. So in order to have that, there is issue of right of way to build fiber.
Okay.
And then because of the massive devices that are going to be connected, there is issue of type approval, because today every telecom device or equipment in this country, the NCC give approval and certification before they are connected.
Exactly.
So this volume that is going to come, there is a challenge about approving them timely, on time, for the operators to roll out.
Thank you, Engineer Wake. But I'm sure that they are not insurmountable.
Yes.
That's just
Yes,
the good
absolutely.
thing. They are not
Absolutely.
insurmountable.
Absolutely.
And the benefits with what I've had here
Yeah.
far outweigh the
Yes,
challenges.
challenges.
We went on this, but I just want Mrs. Akini to quickly speak to this. Madam, the deployment of 5G, how does all of this interplay in this new economy that we're pushing out, the digital economy?
You see, the digital economy itself needs to rely on this infrastructure that we're talking about. In fact, there's a saying that the IT or the ICT infrastructure is actually the infrastructure of all infrastructures. Every other thing is going to ride on it. So just like you have identified health, education, things like that, they will all ride on this. So those are some of the opportunities. You're sitting down here, you need to have a surgery, the doctor is in UK, and you don't have to live here, and you are able to do this. So those are some of the things. You are attending a lecture far away in Australia, and you are having it like you are there physically with the class and all that. So those are some of the things that are going to come out of it.
Wow. It can only get better. It can only get better. I really appreciate, this technical team of experts from NCC. We've been talking to us on 5G network and, of course, its opportunities and challenges. Let me start, by thanking Mrs. Yetunde Akinloye, Director of Policy Competition and Economic Analysis. Thank you for having time to join us today.
Thank you, Kazim.
Of course, Mr. Efosa Idenha, Director of Consumer Affairs Bureau of NCC. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
It's been really, really illuminating. And of course, Engineer Baku Wakil, Director of Technical Standards and Network Integrity. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
So much. I got it directly. Sitting close to you.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we have for you today on the Telecom Television Dialogue from NCC. My name is Kazim Adeyemo. We'll see you some other time. Bye-bye.
Connect to Nigeria.